It is what you've been waiting for. We are the droids. I mean, the Hafemans you're looking for. Because you're hearing all this nonsense. You've heard some nonsensical things last week. Now you've heard some Matty LaLa spout off some passes blame away and be a little baby and make his excuses. And Goody's just a pompous ass. Goody's just pompous ass.
Yeah, Gute. I love it when they ask Gute about, hey, do you think that maybe signing Sky Moore, it means that you actually give a crap about special teams? And he's like, whoa, we are, hold on there. We've been caring about special teams for years, way more than we ever have in the past. Really? Because as far as I remember, when the Packers won the Super Bowl in the 90s, they had the best return man in the league. When the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010, it was during the time when they were going after return specialists like Alan Rossum and Vi Sikahema before that.
Oh,
and other guys who were specifically special teams return specialists because you win with returns. Now, the game is a little changed, but still, the Packers went after guys and got the special guys. And that's the difference. And now he's all like, oh, we've been doing it for... Shut up, Gute. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like usual.
I'm sorry, we just jumped in. Okay, welcome to the show. It's the Packer Outright Opinion Show. We're supposed to do this like the other people. It's Packer Outright Opinion Show with Hafen Bros. You got Ben and me, and we are trying to...
Why are you like a short person sitting in that shit? It's so weird. It looks like you're like a really tiny man.
Let me get my booster on. Is that better? But my mic's too low. I gotta go down lower again.
No, that was weird. You gotta fix your camera angle or something. That's what you gotta do.
Okay.
That's better. That's better. No, that's worse.
How's this? That's worse?
Good. That's better. No, that's better.
Show off my pectorals.
No, it was weird.
I haven't been working on him. I haven't been working on him for a while.
Oh yeah.
All right, Packer talk, and we get into football talk here. I've always been a better singer than Enrique Iglesias.
I can't take your breath away. Give me a hero, baby. Enrique.
Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna make a couple of wild hot take claims tonight. They're not actually hot takes; they're actually true.
I have a hot take.
Does it have to be does it have to be not true to be a hot take, or is it just that you're willing to say it when others won't?
It's a true. It's true. It's true.
True take.
Are you ready? Here's my hot take.
Yeah. Okay.
I got home right before my wife today, and I had to take a massive dumperoonie.
Perfect.
And I took a huge dumperoonie, and it stunk. And I was like, "Oh, rico!" And then I went, "Suave." You know, if people would know that if they're old. And then Jesse came home, and I was like, "Don't go down there. Wait, don't go downstairs." And she's like, "I can already smell it." And I'm like, "Rico!" And she's like, "Why would you sing that?" That has nothing to do. And I was like, because. And she's like, well, that makes no sense. And I was like, no, because even I'm so smooth, I'm so suave that even my pooping,
wow,
is smooth, like rico suave. The rico stands for my stinky poop, and the suave stands for my smooth dog. See, that's the hot take right there. Even when I poop,
so much.
I'm smooth when I poop.
Thank you. I hope it came out smooth too. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you for that. We'll just call it I'm going to call mine a true take. So one is I've always been a better singer than Enrique Iglesias and will continue to be for the rest of my life. That's right. It's true take.
You used to love Enrique, dude. There was a time when you would sing Enrique songs nonstop.
I would not sing it. People thought that's because I was comparing. I was one of the only people I could sing better than that was making a lot of money singing. So I was like, look, I'm better than this guy. Why can't I be a singer? And then everybody's like, you're not very good, so just get out of here. Anyway, that's neither.
Wasn't he married to that hot blonde tennis
doesn't matter
from Russia?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Hey,
what's her name? I can't remember anymore.
People get married. Anna Kournikova.
No. This was the
Not
short
that
one.
one.
For hot,
Short
smoking. Not
I
Anna
don't know her.
tall and skinny. No. This was a smoking, smaller, cute,
Oh my
curves.
god.
She wasn't very good. She wasn't a good tennis player at all. She always sucked. But
Well, Anna
everybody,
Kournikova wasn't a good tennis player either. She wasn't good.
maybe it was Anna Kournikova.
People just thought she was cute, so they.
Wasn't Anna Kournikova really tall?
I don't remember.
Who's the really tall one? I don't know. It's just a Packer All Right Opinion show, not a show about the early 2000s tennis players, Enrique Iglesias.
That's right.
Enrico
that he
Suave.
dated. He dated a lot of people. That's what we know, and married a few of them.
I don't know.
That's neither here nor there. All right, so let's get into the football talk. We'll get back on track here. Back on track.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. So you want to start with Matt LaFleur, and then we could, or should we go back to the Gute review of how good a GM Gute is and all this stuff that I just couldn't even stomach because a lot of things were.
Let's talk about the most relevant
taken out of
stuff first
context.
before we lose
All right.
everybody. Because
All right.
the Gute, like, I have to be honest with you, dude. The Gute stuff
Yeah,
is just
yeah.
rehashing all the things we've said for the last 5-6 years.
But other people are out there saying that he's
I know,
good.
but it's still rehashing all this. We're just going to say the same stuff we've always said, and it doesn't make any sense.
It does.
If anything, I'm surprised that now people are actually saying the truth about things, which in some cases, for the
some
most
people
part, some truths.
Well, Pete Doherty tried to, but somebody did. All right, so Matty LaLa.
Yeah, and then people try to take it apart. Well, not
Give
just
me Matty LaLa. What does his comments say to you?
Well, here's the thing that sparked my interest was
me
not the Matt LaFleur comment,
Oh,
because I expect Matt LaFleur to place blame on everybody other than himself, which is what he does. Because what he said was, what Matty LaFleur said was, there's guys who complained about their roles on the team last year, and he believes that it had an effect on the team. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, number one, a good coach, i.e. Bill Belichick / Mike McCarthy, even / Mike Holmgren.
Whoa, magic.
Number
Mike.
one, would not deal with somebody who's whining about their role. Number one. Number two, certainly would not talk about it in public, even if they were asked. But here's the kicker. The reporter that asked the question was Ryan Wood, and he didn't ask that question. Matter of fact, he didn't even ask anything related to the players. LaFleur brought that up on his own. It's one of those classic. It's the classic Gute.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we lost all those games. We couldn't hold the lead. We couldn't. I mean, when you lose 5 games in a row, nobody asked him about losing 5 games in a row. Gute just said it 17 times in his press conference at the end of the year to throw Matt LaFleur under the bus. And now Matt LaFleur is throwing the players under the bus. Except what he's actually doing is throwing himself under the bus. Because if he had an issue with the locker room before, how do you think the players who actually had an issue with their role are going to now react to the fact that the coach publicly outed the fact that they had an issue with their role? And you think they're going to listen to him now? You think they're going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll listen to you now that you completely threw us under the bus? And it wasn't even instigated by the reporters. He brought it up himself to try to throw the heat off of him, I guess. But that's why he's a bad coach. That's why he's a terrible leader. He has no idea what he's doing. All you're doing is making it worse, you dumbass.
When people can't take criticism, right? There's been plenty of examples.
I'm really bad. I'm not good at that.
Well, I get it, and nobody likes it. And not even criticism, but like, okay, you got a bad grade. All right, Matty LaFleur got a not so great grade. Let's say it. He wanted to be a 4.0 student. He got a 2.667 grade. All right. So it makes him upset. And, sometimes I get it. Like, nobody likes hearing that stuff or seeing that stuff or whatever, but you have to, you can blame the other people. You can blame the grader. Okay. You can blame the graders like a lot of kids do to their teachers. Or you can look at it and be like, man, what what did I do to get this grade? Like, why did this grade happen? What could I have done differently? What could I have done better? What happened here? Right? And I think people that are in a leadership role, especially one of only 32 leadership roles like this in existence, might want to look at themselves first and be a little inward with it and think about what they did to contribute to this grade, how they can be better. And this is clearly, he's done zero reflection on this grade to try to see what he could do better. He just decided I'm pissy about this grade and pissy about this, people saying this stuff about me. And so I'm just going to lash out and retaliate and throw some dudes under the bus and throw the crap downstream a little further. Because this is what the example my GM has set. So why don't I just do what he does? We're in this together, right? I guess that's the only alignment and cohesion that Gute and Matt LaFleur seem to have, which is now the same tactics of passing the buck and throwing other people under the bus when the heat comes. It's not my fault.
The one thing he did say was, oh, well, me and the coaching staff need to do a better job of explaining what the roles are so these guys don't get all fired up about it.
Right, but then he said, it's up to you to do something about it.
Well, the problem is this. If they weren't good at it before, he said something publicly, and you didn't change anybody other than he did change the wide receiver coach, by the way. Because the Packers wide receiver coach from last year went to Miami with Jeff Hafley, and they got a new guy that they took from some college ranks. So I'm thinking a lot of the disgruntled guys, of course, are possibly in in the wide receiver room. But
let's talk about that.
But hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
What does he expect to have change when he hasn't changed anything in the coaching staff, really, on the offensive side of the ball? Because let's be honest, I'm assuming most of the role complaints are on the offensive side of the ball because Jeff Hafley got an A- grade from the players. So I doubt it was on the defensive players that were upset last year. And Rich Bisaccia got a B+. And I doubt it was the special teams players who were upset with their roles. Obviously they have less, minority role than the guys who are starting on offensive defense. All guys would rather start on offensive defense than to just play special teams all the time. So what does that tell you? When Steno got a C grade and Matt LaFleur got a B- grade, and Matt LaFleur got the second worst player respect for players grade, and now he thinks that something's going to change by breaking this out public and throwing guys under the bus and still keeping the same coaches who didn't know how to communicate to the players last year or any year before that. It's going to happen. It's going to be better now. They're going to be more receptive to coaching from these same guys. No, you dumbass. Okay, go ahead. Hey, Wild Man.
Hey, Dad. It is early, but we had to go a little earlier. That's okay. So I think, this is not helpful to any situation. But let's do what, because I was listening. The reason I caught this today, I was driving. I saw a little bit on Wilde and Tausch talking about it and all that.
Yeah.
And Jason Wilde was like, I'm not in the speculation game, and I don't want to speculate. They want to. Let's speculate. Let's speculate on who we think were the players that were upset when gave Matt LaFleur a bad grade. So I think you're right. There definitely were some guys on the offensive side and probably receiver room. I know Dontavian Wicks was one guy they talked about. I agree. Dontavian Wicks probably wasn't happy. I think Jaden Reed wasn't happy. I think Jaden Reed hasn't been happy the last 2 years, even though last year he had some injuries. I think thinks he should get the ball all the time and he's in there, be the featured guy, and he hasn't earned that. I think we know Romeo Doubs probably wasn't happy, even though he was the go-to guy, but he's had his things. He's gone. So there might have been some of these guys might be gone already. Who else? I know they said Matthew
Golden, 100%.
Yeah, of course. Sure.
I mean, he's a first-round wide receiver.
Yeah.
And these are the guys. Listen, it's wide receivers, right? Wide receivers.
I think it's more than the wideouts, though. Well, you go on Golden. Yeah, I want to talk about other guys.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring this up because I've been a manager in retail for many, many years. But just in any walk of life, okay? Now, and I think this is very interesting because on defense, when Valentine was having issues, they yanked his ass and they put somebody else in. When Hobbs sucked, they pulled his ass out and he didn't play for a while. Even though he was injured and he was healthy, he still didn't play, right? When Rashawn Gary's snaps were less than Kingsley Enagbari's on defense at the end of the year, even though Micah Parsons was hurt. Why is that? I don't know. I think we all know that's why he's gone. But on defense, it seemed they were like, hey, you play because you're good and you're getting the job because we know that you make things happen. And they would use these guys in roles to probably be to the best of their ability for the most part, right? Now, we have no defensive lineman, right? So I know Colby Wooden, just after the trade, said that he didn't like having to play nose tackle last year because he's not a nose tackle, and he hopes he can play D tackle or defensive end or a 3 technique or a 5 technique with the Colts because last year he was playing nose tackle, and he's a 295-pound guy who had to eat a bunch of Doritos just to get 295 pounds, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this. On offense, there isn't that same way, right? Matt LaFleur is always trying to be everybody's pal, right? And what that ends up doing, it works at first. But once the players are there for a couple years, they want to be utilized in the best way to be successful. And instead of just trotting guys out there and just running a play, like people complain about Matthew Golden not getting the ball, right? And then Andy Herman's like, well, Matthew Golden played 31 snaps against whatever team it was, even though he only had 1 catch. But he played 31 snaps. He played the second most snaps of any receiver in that game. Okay, but he wasn't utilized. And I think that's the problem. As a manager, when I have teams, if I have a guy who, let's say he has a speech impediment, right? Am I going to have that guy work at the cash register and try to sell things to people when he has a speech impediment? But that same guy is also like a really good worker, and his production when it comes to like working out freight and organizing things and keeping things clean, like why would I take that guy who's good at that and put him at the register when he's not going to be successful? I'm going to put my best guy at the register who's the best at the register, and I'm going to put my best person in the back at cleaning stuff and organizing things who's going to clean stuff and organize things. Matt LaFleur doesn't do that. Matt LaFleur just puts everybody out there in different roles and doesn't actually give them like a chance to be successful. So, and that's why, even though a guy can play 31 snaps, when he doesn't see the ball come his way, he's upset about his role. And I think he should have been. Because when the ball did go his way, especially in the playoff game, he freaking made things happen. They ran a play for him that he was good at. And he scored a damn touchdown. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of stuff that I think happens on offense. LaFleur is trying to be everybody's pal. He wants to give everybody, he should have playing time. We want to see Bo Melton. We want to see this guy. We want to see Luke Musgrave is going to be out there. Why? He sucks. He's not good. If you look at other teams, Puka Nacua plays all the goddamn time. Even when he's hurt, they get him out there and he's playing 80% of the freaking snaps. Why? Because he's freaking good. And people can't stop him. That's why. Does Justin Jefferson not play the whole game? Does anybody on the Lions? Are they playing their number 5 receiver? No, they're playing their 1 and their 2, and then they play their 3 once in a while.
Yeah.
Where the Matt LaFleur has got, we got to give Savion Williams a play and give him out there, and they'll run 2 plays for Savion Williams, even though Matthew Golden played 31 snaps, only had the ball come up once. Savion Williams had the ball come his way 3 times in a game like that.
Right. Yeah.
And he only played 5 plays on offense. But Matthew Golden played 31 plays and only got the ball thrown to him once. Now, that's the problem. And that's why guys are upset, because they're like, wait a minute, this guy freaking sucks. Or at least he's not as good as me. And I'm not getting the opportunity. And if I did get the opportunity, I would prove it that I'm the man and that I should be having the ball. And that's the biggest problem. Matt LaFleur the Packers need to stop this crap, because they're trying to be like, okay, we'll keep everybody happy by giving them a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And all you're doing is making nobody happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And by bringing this up to be in public, they better change it. They better establish, okay, here's the deal. Christian Watson, you're starting. Matthew Golden, you're going to play. And you're one of our best players. And Jaden Reed, we're trading your ass or whatever. Get him out of town. We don't need that many guys, because he obviously thinks he needs to be on the field more. And we don't, because we need Tucker Kraft to get the fucking ball. We need Christian Watson to get the fucking ball. And we need Matthew Golden to get the fucking ball. Those 3 guys make plays. End of story. The reason why Romeo Doubs was so successful is because nobody else on the team could do anything his rookie year because everybody was gone. That's why. And then we kept feeding him the ball. He was the skills of a number 4 receiver. And Jordan Love, like, listen, okay.
He is good hands, though, and he's reliable, at least.
Okay, but can he make a play like freaking Golden? No. Can he make a play like Christian Watson's speed downfield? No. And his touchdown pass is a lot of his touchdowns are plays that are just drawn up for him to get open.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like him doing anything.
He's a possession receiver, but at least he's got good hands and reliable, and he can get open. There's value in that. I wouldn't say he's he's not like
here's
those
what I'm
guys.
saying.
He's not like those.
And then Jaden Reed in his rookie year, because there were injuries, had the ball thrown to him a bunch, and because there was nobody, it was Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and him, and Wicks. Even Wicks looked great, right? We were all excited. We were like, "Holy shit!" Wicks is going to take off his rookie or his sophomore year, and he's going to overcome Romeo Doubs because he's got incredible ability to get open. Remember that stat? He was like number 2 in the league on routes, running routes, and getting open. Number 2 in the league. Then the next year he dropped a bunch of balls. Right. And we thought, oh boy, this is bad. And then we found out Jaden Reed actually dropped more balls per ball thrown his way than any other receiver on the Packers. You know what Matthew Golden doesn't do? Drop the damn ball.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the problem. That's why you need to Matt LaFluer needs to get this crap out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
That he's been doing his whole career. He's always
where does this come from, though? Where does this come from?
I don't know, because it didn't happen with Devontae Adams. They fed Devontae Adams the ball 100 times. Now, a lot of that was Aaron Rodgers.
Right. But
it was Devontae. We're going to throw the ball 15 times, and there you go. And guess what? You were more successful when you threw the ball to Devontae a million times, even though he wasn't that dynamic of a player. But he was, like we always said, I'll say this to the day I die, one of the best receivers at late hands. The defender does not know that the ball is almost there, because Devontae is great at locating the ball, not reacting to it, and at the last second, catch it and go down. And the defender's like, So even though he covered him great, it didn't matter, because Devontae had like 3 eyes on the top of his head going through the helmet to find that ball, which is the opposite of Christian Watson, who has no idea where the ball is. So, but what is he going to do now? Because we still have all these guys. Because I thought we lost Romeo, that would be great, but we still have Jaden Reed, Daltavian Wicks, who have proven that can do things in the game. We've got Golden, who in the playoff game looked amazing. We got Christian Watson, who's a downfield threat, big, tall, fast. He's no Jordy Nelson, obviously, but he's going to expect to be paid that way.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is we have a tight end who's better than all of those guys. So why would you even need all of this?
I don't know. I don't know what LaFleur's. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know how he's going to address it. But you've been saying the same thing for quite some time. You've pointed this out for a long time. Everybody thought when it was their first, 4 years ago, oh, this is great. 4 and 3 years ago, this is great. All these young guys, everybody's doing a little something. They're all getting opportunities and showing what they can do. And that, you're right, it does work for a little bit, because these guys are new to the league and they want to be able to showcase themselves a little bit, but also they're 2 and 3 years away from another contract. So they're not necessarily worried about establishing themselves as what is their value in the league so they can get that second contract. But at the end of the day, that's most players, their only chance at a big contract is the second one, is the one after the rookie deal, right? That's when they're in their physical prime. So if you have been kind of suppressed for 3 years and not been able to show what you could do, and nobody around the league is taking you serious, guess what? You're not going to make nearly as much money as you would if you got more opportunities and you were successful in those opportunities, of course. But so that's what they're all thinking. All these guys think they're good, right? And it can be a team first thing for a while, but damn, it can't work that way forever. And you're right. LaFleur, number one, doesn't utilize guys, doesn't call plays for guys specifically, like we've talked about before, which just doesn't make sense. It's not utilizing your players to the best of their ability when you're not calling plays that actually fit their strengths. You're just calling plays, and who's ever in there gets that ball that time. I don't know why. Nobody knows why. And then the other part is just that they're, in and out, or or you got so many guys you're trying to get in the game and get it on the field, and no other team does it. Just like you said, no other team is getting their sixth receiver on the field. No, they don't do it. They just don't.
It's like, remember, like Malik Heath would have packages.
Yeah.
And I love Malik Heath. He's one of my favorite guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather see Matthew Golden and Christian Watson out there over Malik Heath any day of the week, because they scared the defense. Or Romeo Doubs, for that matter. He's better. He's a better wide receiver than Malik Heath is. Now, Malik Heath's a better blocker, but that's it. Now he's gone. They traded him, or they cut him, or whatever happened. I don't know what happened to him. He was gone after through the year.
Right.
But the other thing that's weird to me is this: 3 years ago and 4 years ago, when Dobbs and Watson were rookies, and we had Rodgers, and then the year after when we had Jaden Reed and Dobbs and Wicks and Watson, there was a lot of opportunities. There was enough opportunities to make all four of those receivers look like damn good receivers and make every Packer fan excited for the future. What changed after that year that made the balls and it still is Jordan Love, quarterback, by the way, and the targets and the opportunities not show up for those players? Because it wasn't until this last year that Matthew Golden and Savion Williams showed up, because last year they didn't even draft the receiver. It was still the same four guys.
Right.
But they still didn't have as good a year, even though Christian Watson got hurt halfway through the year. So why is it? What changed? Can you tell me what it was that changed there, Chase? Do you know what it was, maybe?
Maybe you realized Tucker Kraft is good and he got to play?
No, because he didn't get the ball either 2 years ago.
Okay.
What changed that made all of our receivers who had the possibility to be awesome?
We had to get Josh Jacobs. Then
you got it. You got it.
He's so good.
We had to get Josh Jacobs. Why is it that when Aaron Jones was there, not only did Aaron Jones look good, but also all four of those receivers look great?
Hey, Mark.
But when we got Josh Jacobs, the offense stalled because no defense was afraid of him. So they play a shell defense. The receivers couldn't get open because they stopped worrying about the running back, because they were like, he ain't going nowhere. And that's why they sucked, and why they couldn't produce for the last 2 years. And that's the God's honest truth. And watch the games last year. People be like, they had so many big plays. And as a matter of fact, I watched an interview today with Matt LaFluer and Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan, Chris Sims asked Kyle Shanahan, what do you think about Matt LaFleur? Or is there anything that you get to see from him that gets you excited or whatever? And he was like, yeah, I like how they have a lot of big plays. And they do. But that was what their offense was last year. It was a Jordan Love crazy heave downfield that somebody made a lucky play on, or a Tucker Kraft caught it and broke 17 tackles and ran over a guy, or whatever. But it wasn't like a drive. It wasn't something that was sustainable. How many 3-and-outs did we have last year? How many times in the whole second half we couldn't score a goddamn point? How did we have big leads in like 5-6 games and then couldn't pull it out because we couldn't move the ball in the second half? The reason why is Josh Jacobs. The reason why is the fact that Gute went and got a guy who has to get fed the ball way more than he should. Why is that when Aaron Jones was on the team, you saw the backup come in and play? A.J. Dillon played he played like 40% of the snaps. But with Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson doesn't get to play at all. And then the one game where Josh Jacobs hurts, Emmanuel Wilson actually runs for 100 yards, which Josh Jacobs didn't do at all last year, by the way. But in every other game, Josh Jacobs has to be out there all the time, except for on third downs when you need Chris Brooks, because Josh Jacobs can't pick up the blitz. That's right. He sucks at that too. That's why, guys. That's why the receivers are pissed. That's why they were upset with their roles, because the ball wasn't going to them anymore. Because instead of going to them, it was a freaking going on a run to Josh Jacobs, which is going nowhere. And the offense stalled. That's why. And that's why you better freaking figure something out. Because you still got Jacobs on the team. You still got Jordan Love. I'll get to him later. And then you also got Tucker Kraft, who needs the ball. Tucker Kraft needs the ball.
Well, there's a couple of different things, but you're right. At very few times did you see the Packers run an effective and efficient offense. It's just there was no. Wasn't effective. It wasn't efficient. There was no flow to it. There was no consistency.
When Malik Willis was out there, there was.
Well, yeah, right. Malik Willis, different story, because if he needed to, he'd pick up a first down with his legs and keep the chains moving, get you more chances. That's what you got to do in this league. That's what all the quarterbacks understand now, the good ones. Jordan Love doesn't do it enough. He needs to be better at it. If he sometimes you gotta, even Aaron Rodgers knew, sometimes you gotta just run and pick up the first down and give yourself a fresh set of downs and come back to the huddle and like go back at it. You know
when
what I'm
Aaron
saying?
Aaron Rodgers was 27, 28, 29, he was picking up third down and 10s and third down and 9s with his legs all the time and keeping drives alive and causing defenses headaches.
Yeah.
They were getting so pissed because he would just run for the first down.
Right, and they get tired. It's deflating for the defensive linemen who are chasing them, and the D-backs, they had good coverage that play. Oh, shit, and then the quarterback picks up the first down. Damn it, we're not off the field. That is frustrating. No.
He did it one time and got his ass clobbered. I think it was like the 4th game of the year, remember?
Yeah.
He just got creamed on the sideline.
He is just not.
He's not fast. No, he's
not fast. Ability. He's not athletic. He's not shifty.
Oh, we're not talking about him yet. We'll get to him later.
All right, so anyway, but I do think all the things you're saying, absolutely correct. And the other thing is, Josh Jacobs and the way they play, it's just such a slow tempo. Like if you want more plays, pick up the tempo. If you want more plays, get it going. Right? Like, and most of the time, like, what are we stalling for? What are we looking at for so long? Or why does it take so long to get out of the huddle? This is an issue we brought up before. Not many people talked about it for a long time. Finally, some people talked about it, but it is an issue, and the Packers need to fix it if they want to be better and more efficient and effective on offense. But I don't know. There's so many things here, this layer. Let's continue on into other guys. We're going to keep our speculation going because the other people didn't want to put their necks out there and do it. We'll do it.
Hold on, real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Mark Tauscher said something today because Wildy was naming some receivers as guys who are disgruntled and maybe upset with their roles.
Yeah.
And then and Tauscher said, who handles that room?
Mm.
And then Wildy was like, the quarterback. And he's like, yeah. He's like, Rodgers and Favre. He's like, when I played Rodgers and Favre, there was a lot of guys complaining with the receivers on different days. And they got shut up by the quarterback. Even when Rodgers was young. Because you know that Tauscher was there when Rodgers was young. And he took care of it. He told them, hey, I'll get you the ball when you're ready. Shut up, run the damn route right. Or do whatever, you know what I mean? Practice right, or do whatever, and get on the guys. And we got bad sometimes at Rodgers when he wouldn't throw the ball to the guys because they didn't run the right route or he couldn't trust them. But there is a method to his madness, right? Maybe Mr. Jordan Love, who doesn't ever want to him and Matt LaFluer are like the same guy. They don't ever want to ruffle any feathers. They kind of are like, oh, they're just boring. They don't get upset. Like, you couldn't score a damn point in the whole NFC. You remember Jordan Love at the end of the game? In the Bears game? Like, he wasn't even, he was upset, but he wasn't like, I don't know. It was weird. Like, he had no emotion.
It's no fire.
Like, Caleb Williams, when he threw that pick and he got pissed, and then he came back and won anyways. Because he made stuff happen later. But, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's very, very important that Tauscher said that. The receiver room is not only has to be held in check by their coach, the quarterback needs to tell these guys to shut up. I'll get you the ball if you get open.
Quarterback's got all the power. He's the one throwing the ball. Yeah. So those receivers can't throw it to themselves. So if they want the ball, they'll get in line. But the quarterback has to give them, you're right, has to lead, give them clear direction,
He's right.
Keep them in line. Oh, Tauscher's right. Yeah. Well, he's been in the NFL locker room. We haven't.
Yeah, he knows way more than us.
Okay. Let's continue speculating because I think there definitely were some other guys too. And I do think there were some on the defensive side of the ball. I think Rashawn Gary was one of them and not happy with his role. But
snaps went down.
But his role was justified. Actually, he got too many snaps for my liking. But his reduced role was justified based on his play and lack of production. Clear as day. Remember who sent that over? Was it? I think it was just a thing we saw on Facebook or whatever. Somebody put it out there. Kyler Fackrell. Anybody remember Kyler Fackrell? Rashawn Gary and Kyler Fackrell. Somebody put their side-by-side highest sack seasons side-by-side. Rashawn Gary's highest sack season total was 9.5. Kyler Fackrell's was 10.5. Did we sign Kyler Fackrell to a bunch of money and everybody getting out thinking he was great? Hell no. But his last year before his rookie contract was up, he had 10.5 sacks. I guess we should have gave him $20 million. What the... Just dumb. Anyway, I think Rashawn Gary was pissed. I think he was one of the guys
Well,
that
I
didn't
mean,
like it.
listen, he had the captaincy last year, which was voted on prior to the Micah Parsons trade.
Okay, that's fair.
And then Micah Parsons comes in, and you give 2 first-round picks for the guy, and he pretty much takes over that leadership role on the defense, right? Especially in that area of the team. So not only was Rashawn Gary expecting to be the top pass rusher guy, he's also expecting to be the top captain guy. And that both those rugs got pulled underneath him with that Micah Parsons trade. So I could totally see why he would be upset if his role was reduced in some way. But also he sucked. So who gives a crap? Yeah. But I can understand being upset. But it all came because we needed a change. We needed a spark because he could not give it to us.
Yeah.
And Dallas fans will find that out soon enough.
That's fair. At least he agreed to lower his money a little bit and help him on the cap, but it's still too much money.
Yeah, Jenkins.
I don't know. Jenkins for sure. I mean,
well, Jenkins was more upset that they didn't give him an extension, and he knew he was going to get cut for going into this year because they'd save a crap ton of money. That's what he was upset about. So I don't know if it was really about it, but I was also upset about his role as
maybe he didn't like his role being center either. Yeah, he didn't want to do it. I don't know if
other people are saying Josh Morgan was upset.
Luke Musgrave, a lot of people thinking too. Yeah, don't ask him to block. He can't do that, right?
Yeah, but he can't do anything with the ball after he catches it. So what's the point? He shouldn't even be on the damn team. He's fucking useless. He's useless. I think back to the Packers when they had Jeff Thomason, who was their number 3 tight end.
Yeah.
And he was way more useful than Luke Musgrave has ever been in the history of all time. Because Jeff Thomason, and Jeff Thomason just came in and did his job every now and again. He played great on special teams. He did things to help the team when it was needed. He knew he wasn't getting the ball. We had Fatty Keith Jackson and Mark Chmura higher up on the depth chart than him. But he still made an impact when he was in the game, and he still did great on special teams. He was part of the wedge with Lamont Hollandquest and Bernardo and freaking Keith McKenzie. Those freaking 4 guys were awesome. With Jeff Thomason, that's what led the freaking Desmond Howard's huge freaking kickoff returns. You think it was just him? No, it was those 4 guys. They were like a freaking wall of awesome. They got him through that first initial hit, and then all you had to do was beat one guy and then run past the kicker. Now they don't let that happen anymore. Obviously, it's totally changed. But anyways, that's the biggest problem. We don't have guys like Matt LaFleur. Have you ever noticed? Do we have tight ends playing on special teams?
A little bit, but I mean,
maybe I don't.
Kraft
know.
Kraft was on special teams.
Well, he shouldn't be because he's the number 1 tight end.
And Musgrave was too, actually, but he wasn't very good at him. He's definitely not a tackler, so you wouldn't use him for coverage units. But I think he was in there sometimes, and he was in there blocking? On like the field goal blocking unit, which he wasn't very good at either, which was dumb. So I don't know. I don't get it. No, you tell me. Do you think Josh Jacobs was unhappy with his role? Did he not get enough? I think he was. I think he could have been one of the guys who was, because he needs to get lathered up. In some games he only had like 5 or 7 carries in the first half, man. He was upset.
Even had that. He shouldn't even had those carries. The one time he came in to do special teams, he fumbled. So what about the rat's ass?
What about the X-Man? Was the X-Man upset that he just had to play deep safety and didn't get all his picks? Or was he upset that sometimes he had to tackle? I don't know.
Is
Carrington Valentine was
way better than him?
Carrington Valentine, I think he might have been a guy that was upset.
I don't know. All I know is Jeff Halfley got an A- grade. So if anybody was upset on defense, it was way less than the guys that were on offense.
Yeah. Well, I think they at least got communicated with about what was going on.
Right.
Instead of
they were told, hey, this is the problem. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it right.
And the guys on offense, Matty LaLa is probably like, oh, yeah, we got you. You're good. Just keep doing it. We'll get you the ball. We'll get you in there. And he kept throwing guys on the field. And then, other dudes were looking around like, damn, I don't get any snaps. I don't get this. I don't know. I don't know if any of the offensive linemen, the other guys were upset. I don't know. But I think I think it's interesting. Let's see. Great Draft 210 was just like newly drafting Hernandez and Gronk. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was a bad one. I mean, at least Luke Musgrave seems like a decent guy. He's not like, that Hernandez guy, but he ain't no player, and we know that, and he doesn't need to get the ball ever. I think that's the major thing Matt LaFleur can do. Take the players who have zero impact when they have the ball in their hands, and just don't give them the ball.
Well, don't even put them on the field.
Sure, I mean,
Listen,
take that too.
Here's the thing:
if somebody calls for a sub, otherwise no. Right?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
At this point right now, Gute is pompous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Gute is basically telling everybody in every press conference that he believes that the players they have right now, even before the draft, is enough to win it all. That's what he's been saying all his press conferences. That's what he's been saying. Which means it's all you, Matt LaFleur. So if you can't tell that some of these guys that Gute brings in can't play and shouldn't be on the field, you need to figure some stuff out. You have to dictate who plays and who doesn't play. When you watch film, and your coaches need to dictate who plays and who doesn't play. I don't care if a guy was drafted in the second round. Does that mean he should play?
No. He's not good.
There was a time when Rasul Douglas showed up and Matt LaFleur said, "Hey, are you going to play or what?" And he was like, "Well, you got Kevin King, who was a high pick, and I figured you're going to have him play now that he's back from injury." And blah, blah, blah. And Matt LaFleur's like, "I don't give a rat's ass. Get out there because you play better than him and go take it." And he did. But that was 5 years ago. Why doesn't he do that now? I mean, obviously, they've changed, right? Like, Tucker Kraft has clearly become the number one tight end and so forth. But it needs to happen with other roles. It needs to happen with other players. And he needs to stop. Like, listen, if Gute's going to draft these guys that can't play, don't play them. And then if the reporters be like, "Hey, how come we didn't play this guy in the second round pick?" and blah, blah, blah. And be like, well, bottom line is he sucks balls. Okay, don't say that, but just say, at this point, he's not quite there. And I believe this guy's better. Now, I think he did do that with Matthew Golden. There were some rumors that Matthew Golden maybe was running the wrong routes and stuff at times. But you know how you get a guy who's run the wrong routes? The ball? You run a specific play, or 2, or 3, or 4, that are just for him. A play he knows the route because it's only him. Why should he have to learn every single spot, every wide receiver spot on the field? If he's not grasping it, right? Like, but he has talent. Dumb down his freaking stuff. Give him one role or 2 roles to learn. It's the same thing with the offensive line with Josh Morgan. Why was he playing guard for the last 2 years when he's a tall, skinny guy? He should be playing tackle. Right? We already screwed up when we took Royce Newman, who was a tackle, and put him at guard. Now you're doing it again, and this guy's a first-round pick. Now, he's going to play tackle this year, hopefully, and that's where he's going to play, and that's it. But those are problems. Did Gute draft Jordan Morgan to play freaking guard?
No.
That's one where Gute was right. Now, he might be a crappy tackle, but he didn't draft him to play freaking guard. He drafted him to play tackle. Did Gute draft Matthew Golden to run around all these different routes and all these different spots when he's 5'10" and 180 pounds? No, he drafted him because he's fast and he can catch. So run plays for a short guy who's fast, who can catch, and shifty. And don't worry about him having to run every route in the playbook from every wide receiver position in the playbook, because everybody needs to learn it so that everybody can get a spot. No. You run a play or a set of plays for a guy who fits his skills.
Yeah, they talk about it all the time. They're like, put our players in the best position to be successful. Yeah, they say it all the time. They just don't do it.
It's like, you just look at your best buddy, Kyle Shanahan.
He does great.
When he had Deebo Samuel, was he having him run freaking go routes? No, he ain't fast. He had him playing running back. He had him playing slot. He had him playing move in motion, do crazy stuff around the line of scrimmage. and he got on the ball quick so he could break tackles because he's a bigger guy, and he's a little shifty, but he's not fast. But that's the whole thing. LaFleur's not a good coach. If after 7 years he can't figure out how to use his players to the best of their abilities, nothing's going to change now. And there's no coach on his staff who can change that because he didn't hire anybody new. Though he did hire a new wide receiver coach. Maybe that'll change some things. I don't know. Let's hope it does. Okay, back. Sorry, I'm going crazy.
I don't know. No, you're good. I just think all of this. I had one last point that I wanted to bring up. Is there anybody in the league that runs as many jet sweeps as the Packers anymore? It was in vogue for a while there. There was a lot of teams were doing it. Now I don't see hardly anybody doing it. Maybe one a game or something like that. Packers do bare minimum 3 to 4 a game.
Yeah, but they don't go anywhere.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Why does he keep doing it?
The reason
it's a wasted play, and we run them with the wrong guys too.
Well, not only that, but we also because the defenses we play are playing a shell defense, and their eyes are all on the quarterback and they're all on the ball. They know exactly where it is.
Yeah,
and that's a long developing play that moves laterally, and the defense can adjust and see exactly what you're doing, and then go make a play. The only time that ever works is if you're playing man. And then the guy who has to move in motion with him gets caught up in the traffic. Mm-hmm. And these other two guys block the guys that are supposed to be covering them. And then by the time that guy gets over there, your receiver's already round and gone because the other guy had to run through all the traffic. Right? Yeah. But that's not going to happen because we don't have guys who can win against press. And our running back doesn't scare anybody. So the defenses play a shell coverage all the time, and they're not worried. They're not scared. And the only time anything ever goes deep is because Jordan Love throws up some wounded duck crap that Tucker Kraft jumps up and grabs after he pushed off on a guy they didn't call. Or Christian Watson jumps up and somehow the ball hits him and then hits him in the stomach and he falls down with it somehow and nobody knows. Or Romeo Dobbs sometimes does that, but he's gone. And Jaden Reed, but then sometimes Jaden Reed's wide open and he drops it.
Yep.
Like he did in the playoff game against the Bears.
Yep. 2 more topics. One, we either talk about a couple things with Gute, or you want to talk about what Miami's doing.
I haven't talked enough. You talk about Gute.
How about this before we get to that? What do you think about JSN's contract? He was the guy you wanted the Packers to draft.
I don't know. What is his contract? I don't know.
He got a big extension, but actually because they did it now, it's like ahead of where the wide receiver market is going. So he's going to be basically like just over $30 million for the next 6 years.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I believe the wide receiver market is a joke.
Bonkers. It's ridiculous.
I believe it's a joke because the impact that these players have on the game is not equal to what they're getting paid. When a running back who touches the ball 30 times a game makes $12 million, and that's considered rich, and a receiver who touches the ball 4 or 5 times a game is making $30 million, and that's not even the highest receiver, that's a problem, especially when they don't block or do anything on plays where they're not the main guy. The other thing is tight end. Tight end has to do blocking, pass blocking, run blocking, catch the ball, break tackles, sometimes pick up the blitz, all kinds of crazy crap. And those guys, like, what's Tucker Kraft going to make if they give him the big contract? Like 15 maybe at the most? Yeah. You're telling me that a receiver is twice as important as Tucker Kraft?
No.
He's not. Now, if you paid a guy, okay, like Jamar Chase, who's like a monstrosity, right, who can scare the crap out of you, he might be worth some of that money. Like Malik Neighbors would scare the crap out of you. Even Justin Jefferson in some cases, though this year I think proved that without having somebody who can throw him the ball, he's not worth it. I mean, what did he do last year with crappy quarterbacks at the Vikings? He's not. Was he worth all that money they gave him? No. Because if without a quarterback, the receiver can't do shit. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. So why are we paying all these receivers? So if this is what I think. Mm-hmm. I think the Packers should just keep drafting a bunch of receivers.
I agree.
And let them all go.
Yeah.
After their first year, after their first contract's up, just let them go. Let somebody else pay a bunch of money, and then we'll get a compensatory draft pick. Because you know what? Just like Aaron Rodgers said all those years ago when he was asked, Aaron Rodgers, Would you rather have a A wide receiver group and a C offensive line, or a B offensive line and a C wide receiver group?
I thought it was
He
a
said,
D.
it might have been D. He said, I'd rather have a B offensive line. And he'd rather have a higher rated offensive line than a higher rated receiver group. And that was when Aaron Rodgers was good. Not later on when he's old and crusty and a dick. This was back in 2011. And you know why? Because he knew if he got enough time, eventually those guys, even if they're not that great receivers, they'll get open. Because guys can't cover them for that long. And that's the God honest truth. Receivers are not worth it. It's the same thing. I don't understand why pass rushers get all that money.
That blows
The guy gets 12 sacks a year, not even one a game, and you're going to pay him $40 million? What the fuck? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then you got a middle linebacker who's out there tackling 100 times a game, has to cover, has to pick up on freaking tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, have to know what the heck's going on, always have his eyes everywhere, and that guy gets $14 million a year, like Quay Walker, who obviously wasn't playing that great, but still. I always said I think Micah Parsons at linebacker would be way more valuable to the Packers defense than Micah Parsons as edge rusher. Because on edge rusher, he's only doing one job. And there's a whole bunch of other things that are going on the field that he doesn't even hit. It doesn't have anything to do with. Where if he's playing linebacker like he did in college, he can get on almost every play. But that's not where the money is. Somehow these teams have thought that the pass rush, if you can get to the quarterback, you'll win games. And yes, Myles Garrett can destroy a game. But how many wins do the Browns have with Myles Garrett destroying a game? Is Max Crosby awesome? Yes, he is. But how many games did the Raiders win with Max Crosby? Not that many.
Yeah,
just saying.
fair. Okay. I like all your points.
Oh, no. I don't agree with that. I don't care. JSN's a good guy. Whatever.
I know. I don't care about the money you got. They kind of the way the receiver market is gone. If they wanted to keep him, this was a smart move. The way they did it, but I did just want to point out, he was another guy that we had clamored for the Packers to draft, and look at where he is, and Packers have what they have.
Well, I mean, I wasn't really that high on him.
You said You said he just knows how to get open.
Yes,
and he can catch,
and that's what we needed because at the time we had Christian Watson.
Yeah.
And Romeo Doubs. And I was like, he would have been the perfect complement. He would have, and Jaden Reed filled that role his rookie year. And with those three guys, and even with Dontavian Wicks out there, the offense looked great. And so, between the two, Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed, they fulfilled the JSN role that I was looking for. And I was fine with that. I didn't know that they were going to get rid of Aaron Jones and get freaking Josh Jacobs and ruin the whole offense. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Josh Jacobs. All right. Well, I want to take you back. You saw an unfortunate interview with John Eric Sullivan or Sully, where he said something dumb, which maybe
my God,
maybe he was just too tired. Maybe
have you seen that?
No, but here,
I'm
wait.
Gonna find it. I'm going to find it and share it.
I just wait. I want to reinstill a little faith back because I want you to listen to this. Just what we were talking about. There has been more running backs getting a second contract in the league, which is something. And John Eric Sullivan was talking to Chris Sims with Florio this week, and he was asked about that. And I think I got the volume all the way up, and let's hear what he said.
Are you surprised by the resurgence of the running back again back into the NFL from where it came from 8-9 years ago?
No, because everything in the NFL is, it goes round and round. I think it's a good thing. I think when you're going to start paying players that are going to touch the ball 25, 30 times a game, that makes
what I just
more
said.
sense than paying a guy that on a good day touches it 7.
And the other thing, too, I'd like just to hear your take, and that'll be the last question I got for you. I know you got better things to do than talk to us, too.
So, he just said it. He likes the trend. Thinks it makes more sense to pay a dude who's touching it 25, 30 times than a guy who's touching it 7. That's why they traded Jalen Waddle, dude. Right? That's why they have a one with Miami. They have, I don't know if any of you pay attention to Miami, but if you don't have an AFC team that you like, go with the Dolphins because I like what they're doing. Not only do they have Halfley, not only they get Malik Willis, one of the best humans in football, and a really good player, but what they're doing right now is they got a ton of guys on 1-year contracts. So they went out and found players that were getting some playing time, but probably not, valued starters on their team. They signed them to 1-year contracts and are like, because they're in cap situation where they can't do much more than that anyway. But also, it's a chance. You got guys who are like, okay, 1-year chance. I'm going to get a chance to play, probably a really good chance to compete and start and show what I can do and maybe earn a contract after this year, a big contract. So that's what they're doing across the board, including signing Ben Sims, by the way. They got him on the team as a tight end. They got they got tough nose inside linemen from the Chargers. They got like all these dudes coming in. And all of it is 1-year contract, prove it contract. Those guys are going to bust their ass this year.
Yeah,
they're going to get that. They're going to get the most out of those guys, 100%. But the only thing they promised them is a chance to come in and compete for a starting job.
Yeah, and that's what the LaFleur should do too.
Yeah. But why wouldn't the Packers ever embrace that? Now, I'm not saying you can do that every year, and eventually you got to pay players if they're really good to keep them and all that. But like the Packers talk all the time about drafting and trying to get competition so important. Well, what the hell? Like, once you start paying this guy for a 4-year top of the league contract, this guy for a 3-year, 4-year top of the league contract, complacency sets in. They know they are the starter. They know no matter how much you talk about bringing in competition, there's no competition for them. They are being paid. They're going to get to play at every single opportunity. No one is taking their job because you have too much invested in this player. And you just gave it to them when they didn't even prove it. And that's the Packers' downfall. And Miami's doing the exact opposite in this rebuild. And I think this year, because they're bringing in all these dudes that are fighting on a 1-year contract, and they're finding good football people, and they talk about that. And the other thing that they talk about is the two of those guys being in alignment and wanting tough physical players, guys that love football, guys that want to be physical and play tough. They're going to have a good year. They're going to have a lot. They're going to surprise some people. I really do think so. And Jeff Halfley is going to be a good. I do. There, you cannot put a price. You cannot match.
They have to draft
hungry
talent at the.
I know, but you cannot match hungry players.
Yes,
trying to
you
prove
can.
something.
You can. Listen, officiating can go a certain way, as we know.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
and can definitely F a team up, especially a team that's got more money in players on the salary cap that aren't even on the team than they do that are on the team, which is what the Dolphins have for this season, because they've cut so many guys and traded so many guys that had huge contracts. They basically have more money on. They're paying more guys to not play for them than they are to pay for them. Like their salary cap's 300-something thousand, and they're paying 160,000 or something of it to guys who aren't on the team, which sounds absolutely insane. But it's what they had to do. But the bottom line is, though, this you got to share this. Share it. Tell me when you got it up.
Let me see. Where'd it go? Ooh, see, Mark's with me on this. I don't know. I must. Where the hell did it go, man? I'm missing it. I saw it pop up for a second. No, I'm missing it. Try again.
It's there. You got to share my screen.
I don't see it.
You just don't want to see it because you know that.
No, I'm serious.
Everything you just said.
I'm seeing. I don't see it. I saw it pop up for a second. I don't see it right now. Let me see. Nope. I can't find it. Do it again.
What? No.
Do it again.
You're making me mad.
I'm serious. I went to when mine was still sharing and yours shared. Something weird happened. I can't find it. I saw a little thing pop up though. I'm happy to share it. There it is. Okay, add to scene. Now it came up. Now it's yours. Whoa!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
The Infinity Gauntlets. All right, now can you hear this though?
I hope so.
Just say yes or no when I hit play. I'm hit play right now.
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it?
No, you gotta check where it's coming from. It's either an audio source or something. Could be.
You know, I really hate this. I'm really getting mad.
It's computers, dude. It's technology, the best. It's all right. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
I don't give a crap anymore. I'm done.
I believe you. He said, tell people.
It's not about it. It's not. You have to hear the words. You have to hear the words so that you know how freaking stupid. I hit the also share audio. It says also share audio tab. I don't know.
Sometimes computers do weird stuff. I'm going to tell you something else that was cool from this interview. If you didn't watch it because you said you didn't hear anything good in it. He talked about
Okay, I got it. Hold on. I got it.
He talked about all right, fine.
Share it.
All right, it's coming back. It's coming back.
I want to see the infinity. Okay, so now I know it's back on. All right, now I gotta go backwards here a little bit. Gosh dang, Vernon. That's probably too far. Okay, here we go. Let's see what he says.
Show. Give me, John Eric, a moment at a combine where you were part of the process, where you identified somebody on the field, like, I need to dig in more on this kid. And then you dug in more, boxes got checked, draft hits, you pound the table, you get him, and he showed out. You got somebody for that?
Eddie Lacy.
Oh, did you see him look? He could not think it. Look at Jeff Hafley's face. He's like, Eddie Lacy? Up with? Eddie Lacy is the name you come up with? Not Micah Hyde? Not Zach Tom? Not, just name a late round, even Isaiah McDuffie, even anybody who was a good player later in the draft. Not a second round overly. But now listen to his example here. So he had to go back all the way back to Eddie Lacy, who had one contract and then died and ate a bunch of burgers, and no one's seen him since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How so?
Just, Eddie was obviously a very good player
Yes.
at Alabama. There were some questions coming out.
Mm-hmm.
When we peeled back the layers, what we found out about Eddie Lacy is he loves to play football. When the lights come on, he performs. Incredibly tough, loves to compete. And I think that showed itself in his time with us. We had to have a lot of.
But that's not what happened. That's not.
Wait a minute. Was he saying we had to have a lot of conversations about not eating so much?
No, I don't know what he said.
Or playing football, like watching.
What I'm
football?
saying is, after I heard that, I'm out. I'm out
Come
on Sullivan. I'm out
on.
on John Eric Sullivan in the Miami Dolphins. I feel sad for Jeff Hafley now.
No,
I feel sad for Jeff Hafley. Because if that's what he comes up with, Nate, can you name a guy that had some question marks or you weren't sure about or you just banged the table and you had to get this guy? He names a guy who didn't even get a second contract, who was a second-round player, who admittedly says he doesn't love football.
Eddie Lacy loves to eat.
Remember the interviews where Eddie Lacy said, I don't really like football? Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
He plainly said, I don't like football.
He said, I don't watch football. And then people are like, what? You don't watch? Because they go to him, you watching the game tonight on Monday night? Blah, blah, blah. Nah, I don't really watch football. I don't watch football.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
That's the name that John Eric Sullivan comes up with.
That's weird, dude. It's weird. All I can say is he's probably is fatigue.
I don't trust him.
He we all say
things.
It
took him a long time. He couldn't think of anybody. That scared me too.
We all say things we don't mean when we're put under the gun and we don't know what to, we can't come up with something. I think he just panicked and he had to
maybe
think.
Maybe Gute did draft some good players that late in rounds.
That's not true. You don't know that is not true.
I'll tell you this much. It wasn't Sully. We thought it was Sully who found Micah Hyde and frickin' Zach Tom and Carl Brooks and Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Dobbs and frickin' Rasheed Walker and frickin' all these guys late round, frickin' Isaiah McDuffie and frickin' Tremont Williams off the street and Micah Hyde and Mike Daniels. That would have been a great one.
Mike Daniels is a good one. Good one.
A late round pick. I said, give me Mike Daniels. Here's a guy who had a good, solid NFL career, was a Pro Bowler. That would have been a great answer. Eddie
Totally
freaking Lacy.
single-handedly blew up some games against bad offensive lines and looked like a monster. Like we have guys that do that and then get paid like Rashawn Gary, but then Mike Daniels to do that and not get paid like those guys.
And
It'd
his
just be awesome.
20 plus years with the Packers as a scout.
That's so weird.
And
that's
head
a,
of
that's it's a
player
bad
personnel.
answer. What do you want me to say? It's
Eddie
a bad
Lacy?
answer. It's a bad answer.
Eddie Lacy?
It's a bad answer. The only
That's
thing
like, hey Jason,
the only other thing I
Can
can
you
say,
name-
maybe he's
you
got
name
like
a-
an old signed jersey that he's trying to increase the value on.
no.
He
Okay,
he
maybe.
knows Raider Rick buys that stuff
That's like
at auctions.
I know.
He knows
That's
that
like
Raider.
saying, hey, can you name an ice cream flavor that's like under the radar that you like really or no, not even that, like a candy bar? You're like, hey, can you name a candy bar that's like under the radar? Like you said, man, this candy bar, it is the best candy bar. And then you came up with Payday.
Payday is terrible.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Eddie Lacy is the Payday of freaking Sully's picks. You should say whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit is the greatest candy bar that nobody thinks about. Whatchamacallit is the freaking Tremont Williams of freaking candy bars. Whatchamacallit is the freaking Aaron Jones. He could have said Aaron Jones, 5th round pick. Way better than Eddie Lacy.
It's a terrible answer. It's a
Terrible answer. And now I cannot be a fan of the Dolphins because I don't trust Sully at all after that answer. After I saw that answer, I said, no, trusting you, Sully. No.
All right. He was also asked what's a tough position to evaluate in the draft, and he said interior offensive lineman. And then he also came. I'm just gonna give you a little. And then he also said that because those guys have a different body type and skill set and whatever than like the other like tackles and stuff like that. And at least he acknowledged that. That's Gute gets the guys and says they should play anywhere. They should play anywhere. So he at least knows that interior guys are different and better and stronger.
But hold on a second.
Yeah, okay.
Name the players over the last 4 seasons or 5 seasons that we've wanted the Packers to draft. That were interior offensive linemen, and we, a couple of dumbasses, knew they were going to be good.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Quinn
Landon
Miner,
Dickerson, freaking Creed Humphrey, freaking what's his face? Your guy from the freaking
Quinn Miners. I just said his name 3 times.
That's all I'm saying.
Two-time All-Pro.
And let's take a look at some of the guys that were Graham Barton. Freaking name a couple other guys that were
Charles Cross. I like Charles Cross.
Okay, he's not a guard though. He's
a tackle. I know, but
I mean,
we draft shitty tackles, but he's actually a good one.
Usually, the guards that are drafted in the 2nd and 1st round, like to be a guard,
they're good.
It's obvious that guy's a guard and he's good.
Yep.
Like it's not hard to know. Like you can tell when a guard's good. That's actually a stupid answer.
God, you hate all of his answers. Well,
Sully is really dumb.
How about this answer? Maybe you like this answer.
He said Brian Gutekunst taught him everything he knows. That should tell you right there.
That's not true. Maybe you like this answer better. I think this was interesting.
I don't like it.
I think you might like this part about free agency.
I don't like it.
Or why you see the NFL going that way to the fans out there.
Yeah, I think there's so many different things in how you can structure a contract. Yeah, I think the thing for the general manager is typically when can you get out?
Yeah,
that's the question you ask. Okay, I hear when can I get out? How long are we locked into this? But I think stability is what you want, right? When you're bringing a player, especially everybody has different philosophies when it comes to free agency. My own is that difference makers are the only thing that makes any sense because you're treading in dangerous waters. Free agency is set up to overpay.
Yeah.
If you go chase difference makers and you hit,
yeah,
you never overpaying for a difference maker. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to live in the middle ground there, but that's just me. I mean, there's other teams who've done it differently and been successful.
Right.
Including the Green Bay Packers have done it differently and not been successful. Does Gute chase difference makers other than Micah Parsons last year?
I'm going to say something. I think that is the dumbest answer I've ever heard as well.
What? Why? He said for free agents, all you want to do is sign difference makers. Yes. The other guys, let them forget it.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. If they're difference makers, they're not free agents. They got signed back by their team.
Okay.
If they're true difference makers.
Must they're in the Cowboys?
No, they got traded. We traded for him. We didn't sign him off the street. If they're true difference makers, they did not hit free agency. That's a dumb answer.
The X, man.
If anything, what you
Josh
should
Jacobs.
do is the answer that Gute had, which actually there wasn't even an answer. It was the question that was asked to Gute, and then he kind of like was like, "Oh yeah, of course we're going to ask him." They said, "Hey, Hargrave, and hey, this other guy, they were on Gannon's staff, or Gannon was coaching those guys at different points in their career. Does that kind of help you decide to maybe sign those guys or trade for them or whatever because whatever?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we talked to those guys." That makes more sense. If you're going to sign somebody in free agency, have a guy in the room with you, whether it's a coach or a scout or something, who has been with that guy a couple times and knows what that player is all about. You know what I mean? Not just on the field, but off the field. You can see his play on the field by watching tape. What you need to know is what he's like off the field, and that's what you can find from coaches who have been coaching him before and been a part of his life, right? That, I think, is a better answer. Which he did give when he talked about Malik Willis, because they're like, but that was another one where Mike Florio had to spoon feed him. Hey, you guys had 2 years watching Malik Willis. Is that why you guys signed him? And blah 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 blah. And he's like, oh yeah, we didn't know if we'd get him and blah blah flip flop, but yeah, we saw the makeup of the man. We know what he is, and we know he was a good fit here to be a leader for us, and we know what kind of guy he is, and blah blah floop. And that's the truth.
Well, what I know is that they talked about paying guys, who are chasing a carrot with these 1-year contracts. They talked about getting guys who are physical, tough, and who love football.
Well, 1-year contracts are good.
These are none of the things that Gute does.
But he also said,
do it.
when can I get out of it? And that's another problem. Because guess what? We signed Hobbs last year. We paid him $18 million to get out of it after 1 year. We paid the guy $18 million.
Almost 19. It was 18.8.
No, I guess it was only 18. I was wrong about the 18.
Oh, that's all right. Well, yeah.
I got excited about the 8. But that just shows you how stupid that was. Because you signed a contract so you could get out after 1 year, but you still overpaid him freaking by 5 times what he's worth.
He's not a difference maker.
Was that dumb?
Yeah. He was not a difference maker. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. I don't know. We just try to say it like it is. So here's the thing. Gute, recently, I'm just going to finish on this. I'm not going to go through all the painstaking things. But so we talked about how terrible Gute is. We talked about all the negatives. We talked about all of it. Andy Herman was on doing a recap of, was Gute a good GM, like last week? And he went year by year through stuff. And somebody brought up I think it was Mark brought up the 2021 draft here earlier, which was one of the worst drafts by a GM in the history of the NFL, by the way, in terms of what was sitting right in front of you, what your team needed, and what you chose to do instead.
Eric Stokes and Josh Myers.
One of the worst. And
but fireable offense. A fireable
offense,
for
for sure.
Opinion.
And so Andy Herman goes through all the facets of being a GM, the drafts, the free agent signings, and then he goes through the trades. And the only thing we've talked about is trades, fleecing teams at times, pretty much the Cowboys or the Jets. Sometimes it's just making sure you deal with the right people. Yeah, because if you deal with the dumb teams and you can pull off some good trades for yourself.
Yeah.
But the main facets of the job that you do most often are drafting and then signings of players. And he sat there and went through year by year and said how bad it was, but then went through and made cases for how he was a really good GM. And I was like, you just went through this year by year and said how bad it was, and then you're coming around saying, well, because of like one or two things, it was good. Also over-glorified the free agent signing class of 2019 or whatever it was. Like big hits with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith and Adrian Amos and Billy Turner. Those were not big hits. Those were
Billy Turner.
Like even Zadarius had his little splash, but that wore off after 1 year.
Zadarius had a year and a half of dynamic play.
I don't know if it was a year and a half. I think it was.
No, it was about a year and a half. Preston was average at best.
Yeah.
Amos was serviceable, and Billy Turner was garbage.
And you paid.
And that's the truth.
And you paid all those guys good money, like high money for players that weren't necessarily starters, previously, right?
None of them were.
Right? They were all part-time players.
Preston
Amos
Smith was a starter.
right?
Amos
And Amos was too, but an average starter. He was an average starter.
Yeah.
And both of them were average starters, and we paid them like they were going somewhere, right? And Zadarius Smith was a part-time player that you thought, oh my God, we're gonna get him, we're gonna pay him a lot of money and get him. And he was flash in the pan, wasn't the right makeup, wasn't the right work ethic, wasn't the right any of that stuff. It didn't have good technique, and eventually he just became all about himself and then flamed out. And Billy Turner was never good, but whatever. Kept putting him on the field. That was an overglorified free agent class. It was not good. Then, of course, he said Jacobs a great pick and Xavier Kinney a great signing.
I've already gone over what Josh Jacobs has meant to our wide receiver room. Go back
They're not-
earlier and watch if you missed it, and you'll find out that Josh Jacobs was not a good signing. Matter of fact, it was probably a terrible signing.
They're not great. None of them are great. Okay. The drafts have been terrible. The drafts have been really bad overall. Like all these drafts, draft by draft, year by year, and what he's chosen to do as a GM. Bad, misses left and right. Not addressing needs of the team, which we've talked about in the past, which is when you're not addressing needs of the team through the draft, then you don't have starters at all positions. You don't have starting quality players at all positions on your team. That's a problem. You need starting quality players at all positions to compete at the highest level, or you have holes where other teams that have smart coaches can exploit. The dumb teams might not notice it and might not exploit it. When you go against Kyle Shanahan or other smart coaches, they're like, this guy's weak. These couple of positions, they're weak. We're attacking those guys. We'll dominate if we do that. And that it happened time and time again why the Packers lost. And then, so free agent signings were overglorified. Draft picks have been terrible. But then we're talking about some of the draft picks. He said Rashawn Gary was a good pick. He said at number 12, Rashawn Gary was a good pick. No one can begrudge that pick. Are you kidding me? That is the highest selection Brian Gutekunst had and a Packers GM has had in a long time. And there were many needs on the team. And it's also, as we've said before, immediately after you had already signed Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith at that position, and you had the number 12 pick to try to get a guy who's going to make a difference on your defense and your team, and you picked another guy to sit behind those two guys. That's not a good pick. Neither is LVN. Neither was Eric Stokes. Neither was Jordan Morgan. Neither was name any Gute pick.
Neither was Matthew Golden when you had Reed and Wicks and Watson and Dobbs and Melton and
a crap ton of receivers in this year's draft who everybody's excited about.
It wasn't, and when you needed help at corner and at defensive line, and you took a receiver who had zero impact until the playoff game where they finally got to play.
Bill, I love it. I know there has been success, but Bill, what have we not succeeded in? That is getting to the Super Bowl, the championship. That is where we are at, man. And it is this GM and coach together. But Gute is the one supplying the players, and the players don't match what the coach wants to do, and the coach doesn't know what to do with the players that he's given. And that's with that combination that Ed Policy continued on with, we're not getting to a Super Bowl. I said I made one wild claim earlier about me and Enrique Iglesias and our singing prowess. My last wild claim is that the Miami Dolphins will get to the Super Bowl before the Packers do. That's my wild claim. Mark it down. What is it? March 31st, 2026.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that the guy who thinks Eddie Lacy was his best stand on the table for a guy draft pick in the history of his life.
That's what I'm telling you.
Is the guy who's going to lead a team to the Super Bowl?
That's what I'm telling you.
I don't think either of them are going to get the Super Bowl.
Maybe not, but
I think John Eric Sullivan and Hafley are going to get canned by year 2. After year 2, because because the owner is a guy who just can't handle losing, and he's fired how many guys already over all the years, and they're just traded away their entire skill position team. All their high money is gone, cut, traded, gone, cut, whatever. They're going to have nothing. Everybody they're bringing in is on 1-year contract. Do you remember what the Houston Texans looked like that year? Everybody talks about this. Like, you're talking about it like it's a big deal. Houston, the year when they traded away Wiener Boy, went and they signed a bunch of guys. One of their guys was Christian Kirksey after he was a Packer. Remember, they signed him. They signed all these guys to 1-year deals. And they signed a lame duck coach who they signed. I think they signed him for 2 or 3 years, but they fired him after 1 year but they gave him nobody to play. Like, they just signed him because they had no cap room. And they sucked because they signed the former Bears guy. What was his name? Former Bears coach, Lovie Smith.
Lovey. Yeah.
And they signed him to be a coach of the Texans for 1 year when they got rid of everybody that was good, signed a bunch of guys on 1-year contracts. And then they signed D'Amico Ryans, or whatever his name is, who's the coach now, who's really good. Mm-hmm. And they got a bunch of guys, and they freaking drafted what's-his-face, who everybody thinks was good, but he wasn't that great because he's...
CJ Stroud?
Yeah, that guy ain't that good.
Average.
Anyways, but they started getting better and better, making the playoffs, and their coach was good, and they had signed a couple guys on defense, and they did a bunch of things.
Crazy.
Now, so I think...
I love watching their defense play.
It's great to sign a bunch of young guys or a bunch of guys on 1-year contracts to try to prove it, right?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is not every player is a guy who can prove it. So, I don't know, man. Especially when you're in division with the Bills. Now, they still have the crappy Jets. So that's great. But they got the Bills and they got the Patriots. And the Patriots just went to the Super Bowl. And the Bills are always good.
Bills got turmoil. So, they don't know what they're doing. They got Josh Allen, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to keep good defensive players. They don't know what they're doing.
What I'm saying is, I got a bad feeling after seeing this Eddie Lacy comment. John Eric Sullivan is gone. He ain't gonna last more than 2 years with the Dolphins.
All right,
because he's already making such crazy moves. I mean, he's gonna have to hit on every draft pick, dude. Every draft pick they make this year.
That's what he said.
Hit on them all.
He said he's got to do his job right. That's what he said, and so it's up to him. It's up to him. He's gonna have to do it right. Bill says for the Packers, it's coaching. So he thinks it's on LaFluer. And we agree it's on LaFluer,
Bill,
but also this.
Let me ask you a question, Bill. This is the thing that I want Packer fans to realize. Because it's one thing when we're watching the games. It's one thing when we see it like, okay, so a lot of people talked about this draft class from 4 years ago who are now free agents, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Romeo Doubs was a starter.
Yep.
Rasheed Walker was a starter.
Yep.
Quay Walker was a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is gone and was a starter? Somebody else, I don't know, whoever. Sean Ryan, he eventually became a starter. We signed him back.
Yep.
Christian Watson, who was a starter, and we signed him back to this year. Who's the first round pick? Oh, it was who was the first round pick for this year? Did we have a first round pick?
Oh, it was well, you mean that year?
It's Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker. Yeah. Devontae Wyatt, who's still on the team, but he hasn't really. I mean, he's okay, but I don't know if he's worth the first round pick. I wanted him. I was maybe wrong about him. No, he did get the dab from Bill Belichick in that one practice we were at, but then he had to sit out for the rest of the practice because he got too tired after working hard on one play. So that was kind of scary.
He's got some conditioning.
What I'm saying is this. When those guys hit free agency, yes, Romeo Doubs has some numbers, so he got paid.
Yeah.
Quay Walker has some tackle numbers, so he sort of got paid by a desperate team in the Raiders who aren't very good. But Josh Myers, who was a starter for this team for years, got bare minimum. But he started for years on us, so he must be good. Eric Stokes, who started for years. Rasheed Walker, who started at left tackle for the last 2 years. 1 year, $4 million.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this. Gute has had some draft picks that had to play because we had no one else.
Mm-hmm.
When Romeo Doubs was a rookie, he had to play because it was Randall Cobb or him. And Cobby would coach him up.
Cobby coach him up.
So he had to play, just like Jaden Reed had to play because all we had was Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed. He had to play. When Luke Musgrave hit, he had to play, and he sucked. But Tucker Kraft had to play. And when they've played, and we've won games, sort of, and Jordan Love has played, is he worth $55 million? Is he a top 3 quarterback in the NFL even? top, or is this what he's paid to be? Is he a top
Is that
5?
10?
Is he a top
No.
10?
No.
Is he a top 15? Maybe a
Yeah,
top 15. He
I'll
might be
give him-
15 or 14.
Yeah,
I'll maybe give you that, but I don't think I even would. But I'm just saying, a
Joe
lot of
Flacco?
these guys that we think are good picks or good players got to play and were serviceable. Why is it that a guy like Isaiah McDuffie, who plays quite well, and whenever he's in the game, looks good, gets tackles, makes plays, he's in the right spot at the right time. Sometimes he's not physically able to do things, like he's not fast enough to cover running back out of the backfield and so forth. But that guy people complain about. But Quay Walker, who has a guy run right in front of him and just doesn't cover him, and then he gives up a first down because he just stood there like a dumbass. Nobody says anything about that, but then he gets $14 million because he was a first-round pick, and all the fans said he was good.
He played a bunch of snaps, yeah.
What I'm saying is this. It seems like these are good picks because they started for this team that won some games. But then when those guys were free agents, the majority of them did not get paid like they were starters. And a matter of fact, didn't even go to teams and become starters in some ways. But yet we paid some guys that we should not have. Where's Eric? Where's Darnell Savage? Oh, yeah, nowhere. What happened to Jair Alexander after 2 years of flaking out with the pack? Disappeared from the league because even the Ravens didn't want him. And now he's gone. Was he a good pick? He was until he got hurt his third year, and then he sucked. And that's the thing that's difficult, Bill, I think for you and other Packer fans who see these guys play every day. They have numbers. We forget that Jaden Reed had 9 drops that second year. More than Christian Watson even had, even though everybody says Christian Watson has drops, even though Jaden Reed had more drops. He had more drops than Dontavian Wicks had, but everybody said Jaden Reed is good. Dontavian Wicks sucks because he drops the ball.
Yeah.
Because you hear it. Even Chris Sims says Jaden Reed is really good.
I know. They say
Is he? Or is he just a guy who we didn't have a position? Like I said, that's why I wanted JSN at the time, because we didn't have a slot receiver.
we didn't have
In
starters.
his rookie year, he got to play because we had nobody at slot receiver. So he had to play because Randall Cobb was gone because we had Cobby not there anymore to coach him up. It was this guy who got to play because we had nobody else. And he had some balls thrown his way, and he made some plays, and he got the ball moving around, and we got some stuff that worked. But is he a dynamic player? Is he great? And that's the whole point of that one article that you brought up from, who's the guy who did the article?
That was Pete Doherty. Yeah.
Pete Doherty, who said, Gute has not had an impact drafted player.
That's true. Yeah.
Period. In 8 drafts. Or is this his 8th draft? Something like that. He's either had his 8 drafts or this is his 8th draft. He has not haven't had an impact player. Last year, the last couple years, and the Packers had guys make the Pro Bowl. It was Xavier McKinney. It was Josh Jacobs. Don't know why. It was Micah Parsons. And it was Keith Nixon, of all people. All the fans hate him, but apparently he made the Pro Bowl last year. Yet everybody hates him. Don't make any sense to me. But are any of those guys drafted by Gute? Oh, no, they weren't. And that's the key. I'm not saying that those players are bad, though, because a lot of them were good. I think Rasheed Walker did a great job as a 7th-round pick. I think that's a good pick for Gute. I think I don't know if Gute made that his decision,
Right.
but I like
That's
that
true.
pick.
Yeah.
Right? I like that pick. I like the pick of Romeo Doubs. He was a very good 4th-round pick. No doubts. No doubts. Now, is that Gute's 4th-round pick? I think Christian Watson was Gute's pick because he traded up to get him. I think Jaden Reed was Gute's pick because he traded up to get him. I think, I don't know, what's his name?
Mari Rogers.
Mari Rogers was Gute's pick because he traded up to get him.
Josh
That didn't
Myers.
work. Josh Myers was
Eric
Gute's
Stokes.
pick. Eric Stokes was Gute's pick. Jordan Morgan, Gute's pick.
LVN.
LVN, Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage. All Gute's picks and all bad. All bad. So
he's drafted 0 impact players.
0. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This isn't like the days where we had Clay Matthews, we had Jordy Nelson,
So
we
good.
had Nick Collins. We had Mike Daniels was an impact player. B.J. Raji was an impact player. Now, Ryan Pickett was a free agent, but Colin Jenkins wasn't drafted by us, and he was an impact player.
Mm-hmm.
We had David Bakhtiari,
Nick
who
Collins.
was a great player. I said Nick Collins.
Oh, you did. Quick shout out to Andy Herman for his new background.
Yeah, I know.
It's not about the new background about what it looks like to me. It's the people he has featured on it.
Yeah.
Freaking Nick Collins, Tremont Williams, and Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
That shout, Andy Herman, well done on that.
Yeah,
Those are three
Amazing.
great Packers.
Great Packers.
Yeah,
great. And then he said he's like, I was going to try to figure out a way to get Tyrone Williams. Or no, not Tyrone Williams. Shields. Try to get Shields
Sammy
on
Shields.
37.
Okay,
and I was like, wait a minute, what about Charlie Pepper, dude? You crapping on Charlie Pepper? You crapping on Charlie Pepper, man?
He's not.
Charlie Pepper made some plays. He was a good freaking backup safety who came in because he needed to, and he played that Super Bowl, and it was awesome. So, yeah, Nick Collins is way better, but still, Charlie Pepper pretty damn good at strong safety.
Don't
Nick
forget
Collins at free safety.
even the Bush had to come in and play some
Jared
corner
Bush,
today.
he had a pick, he had a knockdown, he had all kinds of crazy stuff Jared Bush made. Even Jared Bush making plays, down drive around the sidelines. Marked up, or was it Greg Jennings? One of those two guys. But anyways, what I'm saying is this, Bill. I'm not saying Gute sucks.
I am.
I'm saying his picks suck. Because I do like Gute's trades. He fleeces the Jets. He fleeced the Raiders. He fleeced the Cowboys. He's a ruthless bastard when it comes to trades. Genius. Except for the Rasul Douglas trade. Dumb. Should never trade Rasul. That was stupid. But Rasul was talking shit about the team. And he knew there was some stuff going on, and they got rid of him because he was upset. Because I don't know if everybody remembers that, they were kind of teetering on a disaster area with the Jordan Love first year. It was getting close to the end.
He only traded him because he was giving up on the season at that point.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And then they somehow came and figured it out, and then came back and won the game.
Yeah.
But that's because Aaron Jones was hurt in the first half of the year. Because remember, he got hurt in the Bears game in the very first game of the year when he caught that 4th down touchdown and pulled his hammy, and then he missed the next 4, 5, 6 games. And then he came back, and when Aaron Jones came back, we went on a freaking run, and he led us all the way through the playoffs. And then Gute said, Aaron Jones is definitely going to be on this team. And then he cut him and signed Josh Jacobs and screwed the whole thing up. And that's the problem. Because he does stupid shit like that. And Bill, you got to go back and listen to my opinion on the whole wide receivers. And I'll just say it one more time here. When Aaron Jones was the running back, and Jordan Love's first year, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, and Jaden Reed all had solid years, and all Packer fans were excited for the future of that wide receiver room. And only one thing changed. The running back went from Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, a little bit, to Josh Jacobs getting fed way too much. And then guess what happened? The receiver stats for all 4 of those guys went down the tubes because they didn't get another receiver in. They didn't draft the guy that year, even though there was a bunch of good receivers that year. They didn't draft the guy. They didn't sign anybody. It was just those 4 guys again. Yet their numbers were crap. Go back and think about it. What changed? What changed is Matt LaFleur had to feed the ball to Josh Jacobs in his 3 yards a carry, and his not running for more than freaking 10 yards is his longest run. And his defense is not scared. So they just sat back and showed coverage and covered all the receivers. And Jordan Love suffered. The receivers suffered. But Josh Jacobs had 1,300 yards. So everybody said he was great. And he was a great signing. And we made the playoffs and lost in the first round. And then last year, what did we do? Josh Jacobs even had a crappier year.
7 seed, by the way. Only
7
because
seed.
they expanded it to 7. Otherwise, remember, we would have missed the playoffs
Yes.
all these years. And
I don't know.
Gute would have been fired. Let me just say this about,
go ahead.
about the Gute thing. Because I'll say two things. When Gute talks, he does not sound like a person I'd want in charge of my Packer team. He's not a Packer guy. He sounds like a pompous ass. We Packer fans don't like pompous asses. John Eric Sully, he sounds a lot more like a Packer guy to me than Gute does when he talks. That's one of the reasons I give him a benefit of the doubt, even with his terrible Eddie Lacy answer. Now, the other thing about Gute is, Bill, it's not about his misses in the draft. It's about his choices in the draft, where there were clear and obvious choices of players and needs on the team, and he chose to go against what everyone was saying was a good idea. All the draft analysts, all the people are looking at the Packers team, what they need, what they have, whatever. And again, I think it's his own hubris. Like, he wants to think he knows something that nobody else knows. He wants to think he's smarter than everybody else, and he's going to prove them that by taking some guy here that nobody expected. And guess what happens when you do that and you take those risks, and those guys don't become like star players or even good players or even starters or even guys that can get a second contract or play for your team or do anything? You suck, because that's all on you. You're the one, like literally every other football person is saying, expecting this, and you go in a totally different direction, and you don't just do it once, you do it over and over and over again with your highest selections, the players that need to be the most talented players that become the superstars of your team, your core, and you choose to take that approach every time. That's on you, man. And that's why we got the problem with the Gute. On top of some of the other stuff. But that's the biggest problem with him. The only thing he's got is the trades, man. And just remember, he did the Rodgers trade a year too late. Could have got a ton more.
Definitely a year too late. Should have
Ton
traded
more.
The Broncos would have had a freaking haul. Could have had a haul. But
those are the things.
I'm sure he wanted to trade him because Gute hates Rodgers.
Oh,
that's
true.
That's the one thing I can agree with Gute on, is that Rodgers sucks, but he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
There's no doubts about that.
Right.
But it's
anyway,
one of those things where, hey, I'm not saying that.
Matt, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't think it's like. I think this is what we said at the beginning of the offseason. We said we think it's time for both of those guys to be gone.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
It's not working.
I think LaFluer is lost the locker room, and it proved it in the article. And now that he's blaming the players and saying that they didn't like their roles and how it affected the team and all this other crazy crap he's saying, just throwing the and it's just going to make it worse. It's just going to make it worse. And Gute, who repeatedly has brought up how they lost 5 games in a row. We lost 5 games in a row, and how we got to learn how to freaking, like, we had the win, we had the lead, and we got to figure out how to hold the lead and win these games. I mean, he's throwing LaFleur under the bus, and that's one thing those two guys have in common. They love blaming somebody else, and that's not what you have to do. You have to honestly look in yourself in the mirror, and the only good thing I can agree with is, hey, he saw Rashawn Gary is not performing, and we got rid of him. We saw that Elton Jenkins is not worth the money that we were paying him, and he's still a decent player, but we had to cut him. But what he should have saw was that Josh Jacobs needed to go, because he does. And maybe he could have saw that, Romeo Doubs maybe could have stayed, but he did get paid a lot. So that's okay.
Not a lot in terms of what other receivers are getting, but still more than the Packers
more than
should
we
pay.
could afford. Yeah, more than we could afford.
And more than anybody should pay. Right now, we talked about it before.
Yeah,
this receiver market has gone bonkers. Like, I don't think it's with as the impact they have on the game, unless they are, like you said before, unless they can kind of do it all, unless they can threaten deep, unless they can run after the catch, and unless they're like really reliable hands, which is kind of the total package, the dude's not worth it. Like, just move on, get somebody else in there.
I keep thinking of Jordy Nelson. Like when you go back and watch film of Jordy Nelson, you're like, holy crap, was he good? And I don't think he ever got like maybe he's like a top 10 receiver, but not even close. Like, his contract extensions weren't that great.
You got one good contract.
But it wasn't like,
and it wasn't like top of the
it wasn't nearly like it was like maybe a top 20 receiver,
right.
But it was more like the Alec Pierce type money. Maybe not even the Alec Pierce money. It wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
It was more like the Romeo Doubs contract. Yet he was like an impact player who changed the game.
Yeah.
Like, how many sideline crazy catches were toe tap swag and catching the ball, but Aaron Rodgers throwing it 5 yards out of bounds because he doesn't want to throw a pick, and Jordy's got to keep his toes in bound to catch it 5 yards out of bounds because he's 6'2" and he can still do that.
He was the play action hole shot master.
Yeah, making the safety go too far, and then he juked back inside and ran all the way to touchdown for freaking 70 yards. And holy crap, all these plays are Christian Watts can't do any of that shit. No, but we're gonna pay him freaking over $100 million.
No.
You're going to, dude.
No.
Even though the guy can't stay on the field, he can't
That's a
find the ball in
mistake.
the air. Like, he's not worth any of that money, but they're going to do it because guess what? He's 6'4" and runs fast. And there aren't that many guys who are 6'4" and can run fast.
There are dudes. They were just. I
And he's a good guy.
watching some. Right.
He's a
I
good
get
guy.
it. I get it. He
So
is
it's
a
not
good
like
guy.
we're signing some crazy guy,
But he's limited in what his skills are.
I know.
And I know he's super tall and super fast, but that doesn't make you a great receiver. Just doesn't.
Doesn't matter. He's tall and he's fast, and Gute likes tall or he likes fast. Harry Stokes ran fast in a straight line. Luke
there's a
Musgrave ran fast in a straight line, so he drafted him in the second round over Tucker Kraft, even though Tucker Kraft was all around better tight end.
100%. Whose pick was that? Don't tell me. Don't tell me it was Gute's pick. Don't tell me Gute. Gute made his choice. That's another example of Gute's picks. Gute
you
made
hear
his
what,
choice. He picked
did you hear what-
Musgrave. He did not pick Tucker Kraft.
I know he did because it would have taken Tucker Kraft in the second round if it was his pick, if he wanted him.
Yeah.
But he wanted Musgrave, and that's where Gute is an idiot because the better player was sitting right there. Do you hear what Jason Wilde said the other day?
What?
He said that Mike McCarthy doesn't like using tight ends, especially blocking tight ends or big guys. Like when the Packers signed Mercedes Lewis, he didn't even play him. It took Matt LaFleur coming here to make Mercedes Lewis look good. So now, since he's with the Steelers, maybe the Packers should trade Luke Musgrave to the Steelers for Darnell Washington. And then you could have your guy, Darnell Washington, on the Packers with Tucker Kraft. Now, that would be unstoppable. That would be a couple of monstrosities because Tucker would just go over and run over guys and break crap. And then Darnell Washington, 6'7", 270 pounds of monstrosity at tight end, would block like a man.
Big.
He's freaking huge. He'd be awesome.
He's a little lazy sometimes, but he is still a beast.
He's trying to Luke Musgrave. That'd be an amazing trade. When Jason Wilde said that, I was like, hello, yes. Call Gute and tell him.
Give McCarthy his
If McCarthy don't want to play
downfield
him,
threat.
yeah, he'll get he runs fast in a straight line, McCarthy. And he'll be like, ooh, I like that. And then you can straight up trade.
Hey, well, how do you feel about Joe Flacco's saying other teams are dumb for not giving him a starting gig opportunity? I liked it. I think he's better than some of these dudes are going to start.
I think Joe Flacco needs to understand the NFL a little better. That's what I think. Because if you're a team that's not really going to win, right? Why would you get an old cruddy quarterback on your team so that you can not win? I would rather have a young quarterback who can develop and maybe learn some things, and maybe he'll become better so that next year we can win. And if you're a team that's a playoff team, you should already have your quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Some people think he might be better for the Steelers or would have been better for the Steelers than Rodgers.
Fine, but are the Steelers going to do anything? No.
They got Magic Mike now. Yeah, baby.
They're not going to.
Let's go, Magic Mike. Go back to the
They're not going to do anything.
playoffs.
They're not going to do anything. It's dumb. These teams. I will say this: you don't want to be like those teams who are such quarterback purgatory, like the Vikings right now.
Ugh.
That they're just signing guys off the street who just want to play
Kyler
video
Murray.
games instead of actually playing quarterback.
How the hell is that going to work? How is that going to work?
I don't know. All I know is he never did anything against us when we played him. The 2 times the last couple of years, he just would run out of bounds. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to run more. But the Vikings are in bad shape. Steelers, bad shape. The Colts had to pay Daniel Jones a crap ton of money for 2 years because they are in bad shape because they screwed up on Anthony Richardson. The Cardinals have nobody.
Yeah.
And their head coach, what are you doing?
Mike LaFleur.
How?
LaFleur brothers, 2 head coaches in the NFL. That's just weird.
I don't understand it. He doesn't look like he knows anything about. Like maybe he'll be good. I can't. I don't want to. I don't really know anything about his coaching talents, so I'm not going to talk smack about it. But it just seems odd to me. It just seems odd.
It does seem strange. It's not like his brother was. Well, I don't know. Those are all the things that I want to talk about.
Those are all the things.
Those are all the things, guys. Pay attention. Just keep your hopes in check, and don't the biggest concern I have, maybe it's not the biggest concern, but the one thing I'll say is at least when I look at Miami and what they're doing, their head coach and their GM talk about alignment a lot and working together, being on the same page, and talking through stuff. Our coach and our GM, have you ever thought that they were in alignment together on the same page, other than getting rid of Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. That was the only thing that united them.
I don't know
else,
if LaFleur really wanted Rodgers gone.
You don't? Even with how excited he was when they drafted Jordan Love? Because wasn't there proof in that video?
Yes, there
From
was.
draft
But he had to always be the guy who said nice things about him. Oh, I forgot one important thing about we got to still tag one more thing.
Oh, okay, tag it on.
When Matt LaFleur was asked what happened with Rich Bisaccia.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Did you hear about this?
I didn't hear about it.
Okay, so they asked him, like, dude, what happened to Rich? Well, why did Rich Bisaccia quit? And now he's doing a special teams job in college somewhere.
Oh, really?
Like, what happened? And LaFleur said, I don't know. I haven't had any direct communication with him about it.
Ooh.
What? Hold on a second. You're the head coach of a team. Your assistant head coach
That's a little
up
alarming.
and leaves the team, and he never directly contacted you about this? Who did he tell that he was going to quit then? He just did it? And you were like, oh, shit. Okay. What? And that just leads to the dysfunction of that team and the dysfunction of this coach. And the fact that Jeff Hafley had an A- grade, Rich Bisaccia had a B+ grade, and now they're both gone. And Matt LaFleur's B- grade and Adam Stanovich's C grade are still there.
You tell me Stano's still there?
He's still there, and he's still the offensive coordinator. And of course, Luke Getsy is back as the quarterback coach.
That's right. Yeah. And who are the Packers going to get to back up?
Jason Vrabel is still there. He's not the wide receiver coach, though. He's the offensive passing coordinator or some bullshit that they gave him.
Oh, who's the Packers' backup quarterback going to be?
We don't know.
You know Love's going to miss a few games. You know that.
I know. They asked Matt LaFleur about that today. Chris Sims asked him, and they asked him if Kirk O'Chains was in the pecking order.
Hey, Kirko.
And because him and Kyle Shanahan were both doing that double interview, and they were like, "Oh, we both like Kirk O'Chains. We worked with him back in Washington, and we like the Kirk O'Chains." So maybe we'll see.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's an interesting one about Bisaccia. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So LaFleur didn't. Apparently, Bisaccia was just like, "I'm out, peace," but he didn't even say nothing to LaFleur. He's just like, "I'm out." I don't know, who did he say it to? Ed Policy, I guess. He's like, "Hey, Ed Policy, I'm out." Is that cool? I'm like, no. I guess I don't know. Well, he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving, so screw you guys," and he was gone. And LaFleur never talked to him.
Wow.
How does that even happen?
It's a little alarming.
That's very alarming. Very alarming. That coaching staff, that team, it's a little bit of a disaster. And now he's throwing players under the bus. Oof. And do you think that they're going to be in a better opinion of him after this? I don't think so.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do. By Lucy, I mean Matt LaFleur. Okay. Everybody take care of yourselves. Sorry if that's too much truth for everybody, but that's the way we see it. So we only say truth.
Hey, I'm still a Packer fan. Look at
I'm
all
still a
these
Packer fan
championships.
too, but
Look at all these world championships.
I want to get back to him, but we're not going to get there. Where'd you get that shirt? Where'd you get that shirt?
I think Jesse got it for me for Christmas one year, or Jesse's dad or somebody. But the last time we had a world championship, 2010, that looks really bad. Oh, there it is, right there.
It does look bad. And also,
it's a long ass time ago.
The last realistic chance we had to get there was 2014. Realistically, I don't even think 2020 was realistic.
What about 2016? Was 2016 the one where they lost to the Seahawks?
That's where they got stomped. Yeah, 14 was the Seahawks.
Oh, 16 was got stomped by Atlanta, where Aaron Rodgers just quit in the second half. Yeah, that was awesome of him. Just quit, didn't give a shit.
Was a horrible game. And then 2020 was Tom Brady chucking up balls and
Yeah, but they
interceptions
had a
and-
huge lead, and he was just bored. He's like, I'll try and do something crazy, chuck up some shit.
It's dumb. Should have won that game too. No, that one you didn't weren't gonna win. 2014 was the last team I felt like could have won the Super Bowl, and that's still way too long. Still way too long ago. Let's get it together.
I don't know.
Let's get it together. Get some alignment. We'll see it. We'll see how it goes. All right. Be good, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the week or so. I don't know. We probably watch too much more of the owners and all that crap, but we'll see. If anything,
I think it's the last. Today was the last day, so there isn't going to be
last
much
day.
more news.
Yeah. But that's all we know for now. We'll see what happens next, and then the draft comes up in like 4 weeks or something. So
Oh, really? I can't remember when it
I
is.
think so. I think it's end of the month, right? Tomorrow's April Fools. Don't fool yourself into thinking there's a Super Bowl.
April
coming
already.
this year.
Holy
It's not
crap,
coming.
dude! It's crazy how fast everything's going.
I know. All right. Peace out, everybody. Be good. Stay good. Take care of yourselves. And go Pack.